What we're live, y'all. We are live, yes, and this is what happens when we are live.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I feel like I'm back at B Reels.
Oh hell, are you smoking? I'll smoke too then.
Yeah, I got C-Minus here, you know, and Boogie. Oh man.
Yo, hey, look, we are live right now, and we appreciate you being here. And this is what happens when we are live. Things happen. I'm a one-man show tonight. Homie Weeze and Fresh, they got things that they had to do, and it's all good. But man, without further ado, yes, we're going to get into it, man. Hip hop history in the making, or that was made. We're going to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So, so what we want to do here is gather together and talk about this time that we shared, that you all shared on Power 106. And
oh Lord,
you know, just the stories, you know, you mentioned, Ms., you know, that C-Minus is your mentor.
Yeah.
Radio. And that's a hell of a statement coming from someone that achieved, you know, the success that you achieved with everything, you know, in the music industry. And you started out in, that'll work. It started out in the music industry. Please, you know, let us know about some of the experiences that you guys had.
Well, back in the day, my grandma gave me a very, very important piece of advice that I use to this day. Surround yourself with people smarter than you and you'll be all right. So no matter how successful you are in life, you can be mentored. There are people smarter than you know, and whatever position, you know, that's why C and I have always had this relationship. There's no level here. We are music guys.
Yeah. 100%.
We have a common love affair with this woman named music. And it's always been about that. You know, we've never had a sour personal engagement. We've never had it's always been love and information both ways. It's a two-way street. You know what I mean? If there's something I know, I give it to C. C knows, he gives it to me. I mean, there's mentors in everything. And when I first walked in that building, I didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground of how the thing worked. So C taught me how to work it. You know, what buttons to press and when to press them. And that's mentorship.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, and he didn't have to do it. You know, I mean, here's this new guy from Santa Barbara coming in. It actually would be kind of funny if he fell on his face the first night. You know what I mean? Like, that's how radio usually goes. And here's this angel of a person. C-Minus comes over and goes, no, this is how it works. We're professionals around here. You know?
Yeah, I mean, dude, when you came in, when me and Chuck were doing Friday Night Flavors and you came in and you were starting to do the boards, like you were so excited to be there and just be a part of it that we were just like, all right, this dude's coming in with the right attitude of shit. You weren't on some like, you know, like you were us when we first started, you know? And I think that was like one of the reasons. And then we just started like talking music. And once we talked music and, because he was coming from you had come from a rock station before KCAQ. And so he was, we started talking like hip hop and then rock. And then as he started to, go up the ranks on his own, Power 106, it was just, regardless, it was always like a handshake, a hug, and a like, fuck yeah, you're doing this. And whenever, he could support, me or us, me and Mr. Chalk and anything that we were involved in, it was always met with great enthusiasm and how can I help? Like, and so whenever we needed to lean on D for that, like he would always make sure that we were cool. And so that's one of the things that like consisted all the way up until we all went our separate ways. And to this day, you know, like I think it's like seeing this dude is like seeing my younger brother that I haven't seen since he moved over to the fucking other part of town or other state. And then we're just like, yeah, we get back together and it's just fucking awesome.
I mean, that moment of mentorship when I first came in the building, just to extend what C was saying, that attitude is what carried our relationship to this day. So it was reciprocated in both ways. Like if I was at radio and, you know, they wanted an idea, do this or play this, or, you know, we need suggestion of you know, how we can make the mix show better or something, it was always meant with, yo, that cat's trying to make this better. You know what I mean? He's always striving to make us sound better. He's not going to come to us and tell us that unless it's something that he believes is going to make it better. I know there's no ego behind this. You know what I mean? And that's what it was about with C and I, or is about it with C. There's just no ego there. No. You know what I mean? Like there's just no, there's no better unless we're better.
And you know what I mean? And not to cut you off, but I just to be a testament there as interacting with you offline and just how everything that you've been, there is no ego, and there's no ego with C either. It's just such a
get him some water. Get him some water. My G's gonna die. No, I'm just
some milk. No, I mean that's cool. I mean, so like just a testament, he's not lying, and you know. Speaking of mentorship, you guys can mentor me on how to make sure that I unmute my mic before
I tried calling out, but you couldn't hear me, so we weren't on. So that was great.
You know, I just was asking people to like, follow, and subscribe if you like.
Well, I'm sure they all heard you.
They did. Now ear this.
And if not, they'll just say they were stoned. Yeah.
I'm laser focused right now. So
hey, see, I gotta ask you a question. I just gotta ask a question. Where did the Kiss Paul Stanley thing come from?
Oh,
yeah.
So
I went back and watched that. I'm like, dude, this is because I was stoned, of course, so half of it went over my head. But go ahead, it was just hilarious. Where did it come from?
So during pandemic, when I first started doing my mixes on Twitch, like I don't know, I just started like there was one day where I listened to this Kiss live album, Alive One, and there's this drum solo in there, but he comes in like it's an 11-minute song, but he comes in like 6 minutes in. He's like, I want to know how many of you like to get high? And the whole crowd, and he's like, no, I know you could do better than that. And so like I started just kind of like at first I started implementing it into my sets if I was doing rock sets, and then I just started like kind of just it just became part of the vernacular, the dialect. Like, it just became like and so I just it's my homage to Paul Stanley. That's basically.
Dude, I fucking love it, bro. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that. I haven't listened to Kiss live stuff or any of that since my dad was playing it. But I'm gonna have to go back. See, that's the great thing too, is I always, you know, talking with someone like you, I always remember something cool in music that I gotta go back and listen to.
Oh hell yeah!
And always just takes me back to that. I love that.
Yeah, so that's a very high compliment to me, because anytime I can talk to someone and spark off a music remembrance or even discovery, like to me, those are the best words I could ever hear, because I love.
That's what we do.
That's what we do, dude.
Kiss was.
That was the whole thing about doing this channel, this Instagram thing, was to remind people who did what. We don't have credits no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, bro, there's so many more people than just the faces that you've seen, and we just don't have credits, and we don't have, you know, people, you know, making the C-Minuses or the Teddy Rileys or the Dallas Austins or the, you know, whoever remembered.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how are you going to be nostalgic and go back and hear a record if you don't hear a story about Paul Stanley? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and what's dope is that when you started your IG thing and I saw like what you were doing, I was like, dude, this is perfect because not only are you in, the ins and outs of like the know of what's going happening in what's left of the music business, but you are also like, you have been present for some of the most historic fucking things, or just you've been around when certain classic songs have been written. It's like, it's amazing where, you've come from, being the board op at Power 106 or before at KCAQ, and then you ended up being like the dude. Like that was like, I'd be like, oh, what's up?
That's the highest
dude?
compliment coming from you, the
dude. Dude, there was
No,
this
I love
amazing.
it. I love it.
There was this amazing point where like I was touring with Korn or the Foo Fighters, and then I'd be like, and then you were like, I'd be like, oh, what's up with you? You'd be like, oh, I got to go do this thing with Mariah, or like, oh, I'm meeting Janet over here, and I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, like here we are. Like who would have thought?
And I'd be like, where are you? Oh, I got to go do this thing with Corner in Cypress Hill real quick. And I'm just like, oh, hey. We would pass each other in some of the weirdest places too, like, just along the road. You know what I mean? Just, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, dude, there's this crazy picture of me with like at this Mariah Carey party. I know I seen you there for sure. And I had like this fucking gnarly ass beard. And I was telling a friend of mine about it. I was like, and she's really like super like putting on the super rad happy Mariah face, and here I am, this fucking this Wookiee that's fucking just like, and I'm faded. Oh my god, I think I'm faded in that picture. It's pretty great.
I think she would have been entertained. That's just me.
Oh yeah, she was really nice when I met her. She was cool.
Yeah. She's a bit of a handful, but she's cool.
Absolutely.
Isn't every woman?
Yeah. No,
every guy.
Man, so I do want to give a big shout out. Today is, we just celebrate. This is an epic week in hip hop history because, today is KRS-One's birthday. Happy birthday to the mighty KRS-One, and we just celebrated
Nate Dogg's birthday yesterday.
Exactly, and you
rest in peace.
And I know him being such a close friend to you, and for me, he was someone that I actually got a chance to be on the street team for his first 2 releases, and that was really dope. But man, is there any really like a dope Nate Dogg story that you could share with us? Celebrating his birthday, because I know you made a post yesterday thinking about some of the things. Just what could you share with us?
The thing that comes to my head is we did Music in Me, the title cut for his album, and it was totally different than really anything he'd ever done. It was his love song to music, and he was telling me about it, and I knew it would be a great record or whatever, because its name, it was incredible when we did it, but I didn't know that it would end up on his grave. And I saw a picture of the grave, and Nigel posted it, and it said Music in Me on it. And, you have these moments in your career where it's like, that's the biggest honor of my career right there. People can get a star on the Walk of Fame, they can do that. But to have something associated to somebody that I was so in tune with musically, friend, I mean, it was the same kind of relationship that C and I are talking about. Mm-hmm. I mean, Nate and I, it was different, so to be forever intertwined with Nate and know it'll be there forever, that's the biggest honor of my career.
Yeah, man. That's dope. Wow.
And that's crazy. But Nate was a funny guy, and he had such a dry sense of humor, but like he wouldn't show it to a lot of people. The first time I met his kids, they're like, my dad doesn't joke around like that. I played him a tape of see, remember when you used to do like mixtape drops and throw them on mixtapes?
Yeah.
Have him do them on the phone. Where Nate and I were going back and forth, and he was like, okay, Damizza, all right, you go ahead and try it. There's all the outtakes, and we're like joking around and laughing. And the kids are just like, damn, dude, I've never heard my father joke with something like that. You guys obviously were friends. You know, I mean, there's so many stories. You know, we were doing What Would You Do, and we get to the bridge, and you know, I'm like, oh, like that New Edition. You should do the ooh. Do I look like New Edition to you, motherfucker? I'm an A-Dog. And then he started, you know, goes into these quotes that I'll never be able to say it as witty as him, like, you know, fuck your bitch, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he lines from his song in a perfect stream, Nate Dogg. Do I look like fucking New Edition to you? He goes in the booth, and I'm playing the song, and you hear him in the background walking closer to the mic going, mm-hmm. Hey, rewind it real quick to the bridge. And I said, oh, I thought you were motherfucking New Edition. Shut the fuck up, Damizza. I just did it. You know what I mean? Ooh, it's like, yeah, that shit sounds good. Glad I thought of it. That's Nate Dogg. You know what I mean? Like, that was Nate Dogg. You know what I mean? I mean, we had a great fucking time.
He was cool, man. I really only got to hang with him like hardcore once. I told the story on the show before, but it was Snoop had hit me up and was like, yo, I want you to meet me down. I think it was Skip Saylor. I want you to meet me down at the studio because I want to play the Nate Dogg record.
Oh wow.
And I was like, all right. And so I came down there, and it's like Snoop and Nate, and I think Corrupt's there. Daz is running back and forth somewhere. And so I was just like, all right. And so Snoop sits down. I sit down on the couch next to the kind of on the side, and then Snoop sits right by me, and he starts rolling blunts. And
oh my god!
And then he would pass it to me. I'd hit it. He'd hit it. Then it start going in a circle. So he did this 6 times and got 6 blunts in the rotation. And there's only like maybe there's 6 of us in the room. And then as soon as everyone hits the blunt and everyone holds on to one, he tells the engineer, he goes, all right, press play. Mm-hmm. And then we listened to the Nate Dogg record, and I was like, oh, shit. I was like, damn, okay, cool. Like, it was cool, man. Like, that dude had fucking... and he was chill, man. He really wanted to know, like, what I thought of certain songs and stuff, so it was dope. He was really cool, man.
Yeah, Nate was a smart guy too. I mean, he came in one day and he bought a Navigator limo. He comes in the studio. He'd always come by and just ask me the most random questions. And you remember back in the day, they used to have those credit card machines, the big ones that you had to go like this with. You know, you had to put the little slips in it first. You put the card in it, and then you run it. Jack. One of those. He puts one of those on the table, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with a credit card machine? And he goes, I'm about to run these A&R's credit cards for hooks.
Oh, wow.
And I said, with a credit card machine? And he goes, yeah, and if not, I'll rent out my limo. And I'm like, what? He goes, I'll use a credit card machine for the limo. I'll hire me a driver. When I'm not using the limo, send it out and let people rent it for parties. I mean, just random stuff like that. I mean, he was smart like that. Yeah, you know, if he wasn't doing one thing, he had 3 hustles going at once. If you stop and think about it, he had the music thing going. You know what I mean? He's got the car thing going. He's trying to charge the A&Rs. You know what I mean? Like, he was always thinking of something business. You know what I mean?
Dude, my favorite thing is that, like, for those of us that were lucky enough, we can say that, like, we had many Nate Dogg summers. Like, like he was guaranteed to have the hook of one of the baddest songs for the summer, and it was always
the winter. He'll keep it warm during the winter and hot during the summer.
Like we would go through like these amazing like just collection of just like these hot ass Nate Dogg hooks
and different vibes. You know, you have the area codes to the quality, you know what I mean? Like,
so I can tell you that the very first time that I can remember taking note of Nate Dogg, like on his singing, and I know he was on other stuff earlier, but I just, when I got the CD for the Above the Rim soundtrack in the package ahead of time, and and I'm driving on my way to high school.
Wow.
And I'm going in because I had the package and I put it in the CD player and I'm riding. And I got to regulate and I pulled over and I didn't even go. I called all, like, I didn't call my boys. I went and picked them up from school and was like, yo, we're going to ride and smoke to this today. We're not going. Like,
Yo, you know what? But
this is it.
But you just made a perfect segue. And I'm using radio station thing. Segue is a quicksand change, but a smooth change. That's what's wrong in the music business right now. Motherfuckers are not making songs that make you pull over and just vibe out like that. We don't get projects like that anymore. I mean, when was the last time that the song like new that just came out? I mean, outside of the rock world, because the rock still does have a couple of them, but you know what I mean? That we haven't had another, David Bowie since David Bowie. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I argue that Snoop Dogg is hip hop's David Bowie.
No, look, but right now I'm saying
we don't
musically.
have anything. No, musically, I mean
he's the biggest brand in the world, but Ice Spice is the biggest brand in the world. That doesn't mean I'm listening to the song.
I see your point. Because he did have some.
To me.
He had some favors,
In the Air Tonight. Somebody hasn't made it another In the Air Tonight. Something that makes you feel like that. When you heard that drum solo, you know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. When you heard fucking Inner Sandman the first time. You know what I mean? Something like that.
You mean like the Game Changers? The Game Changers.
Yeah, where the fuck are the Game Changers, man?
There isn't. There hasn't been one in a while. Well, you know what, though? I will tell you the one that I have been vibing out and I've been riding around the neighborhood to on my bike is the We All We Got, and especially, that song specifically. I got the gang back together, man. I love that song. I mean, but yeah, it's the marketing push behind it too. Like you said.
Hey, you know what song I really like is that Indian guy. Big Step Up.
Oh yeah, man. I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to get him on the show.
I fucking love that song.
Yeah,
and that video was so innovative.
Oh, in the middle of the motorcycles, yeah, we would get pulled down immediately if I played it. It's Humankind, Big Dog.
Did you see that, C?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Man, I'll send it to you.
Oh, you should send it over to C so he can do his reaction video.
Dude, yeah, man. I almost want to get the copyright strike just to see what your reaction is.
No, don't do bananas.
That. Yeah, not on this episode.
No, don't do that.
No. But no, man, that's if you guys haven't checked that out, what we're talking about is definitely
that's crazy.
It's called, the name of the track is Big Dogs by Hanumman Kind. It's Hanumman.
And isn't he from India?
Yes. The video bananas, the beat.
And the video with they like took a chance with his life type stuff, and with the cars going in a circle around the wall. It's crazy.
My brother-in-law works over in India. Yeah, my brother-in-law works over in India, and he sent that one to me a while back, and he was like, "This is crazy," and I was like, "Yes, it is. Yes, it is." Yeah,
that's crazy.
But that's the thing about, like, when you get DJs together and people that are in radio and love talking music. That is because one of the questions that I wanted to ask you guys were, what is it that you guys are listening to right now? Like, what is the thing that you're listening to on repeat right now that you think should be broke? Like, if you were to break a record, what's a track that you would be putting energy behind right now or wanting to play if you were back on 106?
Oh, shit. Right now, I would probably say Fortunate by Pete Rock and Common.
Yes.
I think that's a pretty, like, fucking rad song that could kind of, like, it would be a good representation of Pete Rock and Common, and then it's a familiar voice and a familiar producer, and it's just
you want to talk about getting your mind blown, guys? This morning I talked to Eddie F, dog, about the Uptown days and just Pete Rock and CL Smooth and discovering them. And
wow, he did.
Damn, dog. DJ Eddie F is a fucking legend. He's telling me about writing the Living Color theme and how Andre Harrell's brain worked. Like he was classically trained in media, so like the way that he would categorize records, this record feels like Source Magazine, or this is more Essence Magazine, this is more Murder Dog. You know what I mean? And put them in those categories and build the storyline around it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's
of
cool,
those
man.
records. Isn't that neat?
Cool. Dude, Eddie F was he's one of my favorite producers of the New Jack era, but then he extended into the late 90s, like when he did the Donnell Jones. And he did the Eddie F. He did the Eddie F. Somebody for Me. Like, he was dope, dude. He was, and did TLC.
The first guy to do a remix. Johnny Gill's Rub You the Right Way was the first remix for the Rapper on it, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was the first one for the Johnny Gill one, but that's also the first one that had he had Pete Rock cutting on it.
Yeah.
CL, yeah. It was the first appearance from CL Smooth on Wax, and also Pete Rock was cutting.
Wow. But see, that's history, man. It's so dope to hear Pete Rock still doing it, bro, and Eddie F still doing it.
Yeah, Eddie F's a legend, dude.
It. And he's doing so many projects with so many different people right now, and him and Primo too. Like just the way that Primo. Those guys are super active right now, it's amazing, and I love it.
Hey, see, can you clarify something for me, because I may be telling the story wrong? The Eminem thing at the 10-year anniversary, that was with Primo was there. It was Gangstar, wasn't it?
Gangstar, yeah, Gangstar played it, yeah, at the 10-year anniversary one, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was at the Florentine Gardens, right?
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because I could have sworn it was Primo sitting next to me when we said, "Oh, that's Dr. Dre's artist," and everybody's like, "What? Like the white boy? What's gonna happen?" And he went out there, just fucking killed it. He went out to, I just don't give a fuck. And within 3 seconds, everybody was like, "Talk about an iconic moment in hip hop."
Yeah, dude. Thanks to Buys One.
Yeah.
Buys One was the one that he called me and was like, "Yo, can I get this crazy white boy on Flavors?" And I was like, "Oh man, we really don't put MC." He just won the rap battle, won Rap Pages, or he's in the Rap Pages battle, or whatever. And I was like, "Fuck it." And this is pre, using YouTube as any reference, or
this is pre-script. This is when he had just competed in Scribble Jam, and that was the first time that I'd seen him. He met, and that was just like when I heard his voice cut through, it was just like, ooh.
And so he came, like, I was like, he's all plus, dude. If you put him on, they're gonna pay me like fucking a couple $100. I was like, done, all good. If you're getting some money off of it, tight. So I asked Chalk, I was like, "Yo, can we put this dude on? Let's fucking." He's like, "Fuck it." So I called Buys. I was like, "All right, you're good. What's to find out what 2 beats he wants to rap to, if so we could do doubles on or whatever, right?" And so he called me back and was like, "Phone Tap, The Firm, and 4321, LL Cool J." And so I was like, "Okay, cool. I got those. Those were easy." So when he came on our show, we started I was DJing, doing doubles for him, doing the Phone Tap beat. And that's when that session, and then I went into the 4321, and then he was rapping his ass off. And that's when Dre called our hotline and was like talking, like asked to talk to Fuzzy. And Fuzzy was like, "Yo, who is that?" Just he goes, "Oh, that's Eminem." And then Fuzzy connected Dre and M that night.
Oh wow! Well, then that was the story before the 10-year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because I was like, damn, because he had already signed him when we were at the Florentine. So this was the show before. This is the one that got him signed.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, he was when he was on. He went on Wake Up Show the next night, right? Still, all good. But Dre had hit up Fuzzy on our hotline.
I heard rumors of that story, but I never knew that that's what happened.
Yeah, he called our hotline and asked to speak to Fuzzy, and Fuzzy was like, "Yeah, dude, this is," and Fuzzy connected them.
So you brought this up, and this is a great segue into a question that I wanted to ask. Like, Miz, you've mentioned plenty of times, that when Dre called you over to his house when he's recording, Slim Shady or a bass headline and all of that stuff, and he's, how do I break the white boy? And your question to him was, you tell me everything about NWA, and I got you, and you got that. So my question is like, man, can you tell me anything that you're able to share about that story that you learned that isn't necessarily common knowledge today? That would be dope to put out there.
I think what people don't realize the most is how close everybody was. I guess, Warren G's house was right next door to Sir Jinx's house. You know what I mean? And they were just always together making music, and how a collaborative effort it was. You know what I mean? You had Dr. Dre, you had Eazy-E, you had DOC, you had Yella, you had, Sir Jinx, you had, Ice Cube. You had some of the most talented young. I mean, that's like having 5 LeBron James and the young version of LeBron, the young version of Jordan, the young version of Iverson, the young version. I mean, all in the same class all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And just what it created. You know what I mean? Just, man, and just how simple it was. It wasn't about, the story was so simple about friendship. You know what I mean?
Right,
it was just about the relation. It's like what we were just talking about with me and C. It's like there's also kind of when you're an artist or you're a performer, you're in this music thing. It's kind of this unspoken like just vibe. Like you're kind of a humble servant to the music, and when the music is calling. You know what I mean? Like because it's natural momentum and it just happens, and then you go, "What the fuck was that?" Like you are being used as an instrument for the boogie. You know what I mean? Like that's the boogie. That's what Michael Jackson called the boogie, is when something else takes over, lives that moment, and you get to be cool enough to be the one that went along for the ride. That's why I always say that I'm the Forrest Gump of hip hop. I've just always been a tool that just gets put in the right place at the right time and say the right damn thing. I know that's what it is. But you got me high, so I'm on a tangent.
Let's go.
Do it.
No, but that's what it is. It's the boogie. We have these moments, and that's a perfect example of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I remember. I remember. Just like, dude, there was many times that we would see each other and just be talking about the shit we were up to, and just looking at each other like, can you believe we're fucking doing this?
Yeah.
Like, can you just fucking like holy shit? Like, here we are. Because at certain points it was so surreal just to be like, because as much as there is bullshit on the music in the music business, there's also this beautiful side where you get to see shit connect, and you get to meet people who have that thing, just being around a musical genius such as like Stevie Wonder or Rivers from Weezer or Billy Corgan or like Dave Grohl, or Chuck D,
Herbie Hancock.
Herbie Hancock,
James Dean from Harry Belafonte. You know what I mean? Like
you get to be around these people, and so you get to you tell yourself, "Holy shit!" I used to tell myself "Holy shit!" I'm just a little. I was a small hip hop DJ in a small town that fucking.
You can say it from the 805. Go ahead, say it.
Well, in the 805, we used to, back in the days, Baker was the 805 before they switched up on us. And then we got pissed because we had the same area code as we had the same area code as Oxnard and Santa Barbara. So we were 805 back in the day.
Hey, I just realized why we get along so well. We're both 805ers.
Dude, great 05, homie. We said it. And then all of a sudden, in the late, I think it was probably... It was maybe the 90s, mid-90s or almost late. They switched up, and they decided they were going to switch from an 805 to a 661. But Santa Barbara, Ventura, and Oxnard and everybody, they got to keep the 805, and we were bummed because it was they ain't nothing cool about 661, dude. Grade 05 was so much better. But that's
I've been waiting for a text because there might be something I can announce on this show. I'm waiting for the text though, so it's really cool. It's about music. It's a music history thing that's going to happen, and I'm really excited.
Oh, dude,
I wanted to be able to tell you guys, but
well, hey, we're going to get an exclusive. But I mean, we're privileged enough to be with you when you hit 100,000 followers today.
That's awesome, man.
Oh wow, isn't it crazy?
And you know what I mean? I was like, damn it, do I unfollow and follow to try to hit that?
Nah. Dude,
I'll send you a box anyway. You know what? But you know what's so dope about it is, you look, C was just about to start talking about the why we got into this. I mean, when we were at Power, we were just these young kids that love hip hop. You know, so that's why when he says those moments where we just look at it and go, fuck, because we weren't supposed to make it, bro. Hip hop was not supposed to make it. They were telling us every day our days were numbered. We thought they were going to change to a rock station, do something. I mean, rap was not, you know, what he's talking about, putting Eminem on stage for the first time and those kind of things. Those were job chances at the time. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't supposed to be, this was supposed to be a fad. And there was an active, I mean, Michelle, at the 10-year anniversary, my boss said to me, you put that white boy on stage, Dr. Dre is over. You're fired. The next morning, I was in there with a box, putting my shit away, and Michelle came in and said, you're lucky that kid killed that thing. Where's the record?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what, I mean, when C and I would, you know, look, play Ain't No Fun. See what happens, see?
Yeah.
You know, try this. See what would happen. Oh, damn, you're going to let me play that? Yeah, play that. You know what I mean?
I remember when that got played on the radio in my hometown, and I heard the radio play it, and I was like, man, this is so huge, because this is a gangster rap album on a station that would not, they didn't even want to play hip hop at all. And then remember, during the day there had to be the no rap versions of the R&B songs that they were playing.
Not us.
Yeah, I know, but it's just crazy. And that market specifically, is the Cincinnati market. It was crazy. So that was a huge thing.
Yeah, but it was dope because, like, C would play a corn record in the middle of the thing. You know what I mean? Like, try something different to fit, go. You know what I mean? And so it was like, damn, you're just wild and free. You know what I mean? So it just, you know, that's why when it says something like, yo, we just happened to be there in those incredible moments. Think of his face when he saw that crowd react after doing that favor for buys. That's hip hop working on all levels. The promotion guy was promoting, hustling. The artist was getting on, and we made music history all in one night. That was every day during that time, and just to see that happen, I mean, damn. I mean, Dr. Dre calling Chalk, you know, I mean, that was the power of the almighty Roughneck. So you have to know, with me coming in and calling him a mentor, I'm looking at him going like, yo, this is the fucking almighty Roughneck. I was having one of those moments where I was going like, God damn, dog, where the fuck am I right now? C-Minus and Mr. Chalk, fuck. You know what I mean?
Dude, I just went and hung with Chalk on Sunday. Like, him and J-Rock were spinning over at Grand Park here in downtown, and they did a house thing. And so I went over there and just kicked it, and dude, just talking shit with Chalk about back in the day, just fucking Jay, and just it was one of those moments I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Mr. Chalk, as always. Here we go. Downtown Los Angeles.
Well, that gives me a chance to say, you know, you guys had an opportunity, you know, to have interactions with so many amazing people, and especially during the era of the, you know, when hip hop was also very dangerous, right?
Yeah.
And especially
you can say we were in the death row era.
Well, that's what I had. Like, you know, it's like, it's a death row era, and I'm a death row historian. My thing is like, you know, what was the most tense situation that y'all was like, where, you know, it made you the tightest that you could think of? You were like, ooh, like this is gonna be not even Suge, like any of it, like any of the hip hop artists. The beef
I know one.
Go ahead.
Okay, you remember Jay-Z came to do, I was producing the Baker Boys afternoon show, and you guys booked Jay-Z to come on, and he was promoting Who You With. And this is right after Big had been, after Pac had been killed and Big. So when Jay came in, he had like 2 or 3 bodyguards with him. And it was my job as producer to like, here's your mic, fucking here's the headphones, fucking, we're gonna be talking here. Look to him whenever he's gonna go on. And there was a tape dispenser that was on our windowsill. And one of his dudes moved it and it fell. Pow! And he turned around so quick. And I remember I just walked up to him and I go, hey dude, you're good. Ain't nothing happening to you here. You're totally cool. You're amongst friends. And he was like, all right, word. And I was like, all right. Fucking he's gonna point to you when it's time to talk. You're all good. Fucking I'm gonna go outside.
Wow.
And then after that he was like, hell yeah, dude. Like he loosened up and he was able to talk. So I remember that, like, in the middle of like after Big had been shot, in here in LA. And also, dude, Damien, do you remember the day we hung out after? You were like, yo, you were like, yo, because I called you on the phone, and you were like, yo, do you want to go pay respects to Everett at the Peterson? And I was like, yeah. You're like, all right, and you.
Oh my God.
And you scooped me up.
I forgot.
And then we went over and you're like, yo, you told me, you said the crazy thing is Puff just sent me going back to Cali and we were going to premiere it this week. And so you played it for you as we were driving over there. And I was like, holy shit. We just listened to that over and on repeat. Like,
oh man. So, see, I'm so glad you told me this story. Now I remember. Oh my God.
Yeah,
what a great fucking moment, bro.
Dude, me and you were tripped. We were silent the whole time because we were just still in shock, dude. Like, because I was supposed to go to that party, but I decided to go home. And
I went to the Outcast party. They didn't let me in because I had tennis shoes on.
Oh, I was that's where I left you, at the Roxbury.
Yeah. And and I was like, if I ain't getting in here, I ain't getting in there. So I just went home. And E1 called me and told me what happened.
He called me too. And then so he was like, yo, call. And I remember I called the station and talked to whoever was the board op. And I was like, yo,
dude, I don't know if I told you, but Johnny J hooked me up with a Afeni Shakur right at that time.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Because she wanted to get in touch with Biggie's mother. So Johnny hooked her up with me and said, well, he'd probably know how to get in touch with Puffy's people and all that. So Johnny hooked me up. Rest in peace, Johnny J. Capped the scene.
He was cool.
His wife was, his wife is doing gospel projects right now. But she's the famous girl on Take Money, that's her. But Johnny, man, he introduced me to Afeni, and Afeni said, and I said, yeah, we'd like to have you on the Sunday show that we're having about Tupac's or about Biggie's death. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to tell you the story of my son, and then you can relay whatever you want. I don't feel comfortable going on the air. And for 2 hours, I just sat there listening. She told me the story of growing up and the Baltimore days, the Oakland days, the Panther days. I could ask whatever question I wanted about the Panthers, about that time. How did she feel about the drug use thing, when, crackhead thing and all that. And I mean, it was magical.
That's so cool.
It was magical. But it was one of those moments where we're driving down, we're listening to this, something that's going to be an iconic. That's the moment, dude. That's the moments that we live for. That's the boogie. That's the boogie.
That reminds me of the one moment I had where I was like, holy shit. Like, when I realized I was in such a deep moment, and I was like, and I was around 2 dudes, and I'm thinking to myself, like, holy shit, I'm around these 2 individuals who were in the biggest rock band of all time, for this generation. And so I was on the road with Queens of the Stone Age, and Dave Grohl was drumming. This was in 2002, and it was always awesome because I could tell Damien, like, hey dude, I'm gonna go on tour with this band, and be like, all right, you're good. Like, there was never any like, well, who's gonna cover your shifts? He was just like, all right, it's all good. Like, I would tell him or Michelle, just like, hey, I'm out. Like, I gotta go I'm gonna go to a tour. And they'd be like, oh, cool. So I never got any like, I never got any like, oh, come on, man. Like, and that was really cool.
No.
But so Queens of the Stone Age.
Definitely, from a management perspective, not only did we believe in you 100%, but you had an all access pass. I mean, you were fucking C-minus. No one's gonna argue with you.
Oh man,
DJ,
you know what I mean? Like, you have to remember, our first interactions were humbling. So that's the way, even in a management setting, it would be. I mean, I would get in a fight with Michelle before I would say no to you. You know what I mean? Like, and especially your brand and my whole thing about it, and even going up until the time that, we did all go our separate ways, it was that brings credibility to the radio station. Let C-Minus do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, he's in all of these different things. If anything happens in those rock worlds or on the, the EDM or the dance, we call Richard Humpty vision. Power had the Friday Night Flavor show and Curb Serve and had the streets. You know what I mean? The backpackers and the gangsters. You know what I mean? We had feet in everything. Power was, we had fingers in everything. So if the rock guy, something would happen over there, and some like Kurt Cobain passing, God rest his soul, that didn't happen during that time. But I'm just saying, like, then C would be in the clica and know what was going on.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I remember like K-Rock, which was the rock station in our market. And they were known for playing the Corns and the Biscuits and the Nirvanas and the Sublimes and all the like hit rocks from the 90s, which we were still in when we started. But when I started doing rock in my mixes, it's like right around 97 and 98 is when Jimmy Steele had given he'd given me the go for the rock show. And but I remember at a certain point, K-Rock, which was the #1 rock station in our market, like they were really getting pissed at me. And I don't know if you probably heard the blowback from this, but like, so I was getting like, because I had become cool with all these rock bands and all these like individual members of all these bands, like cool with them. We're hanging out, we're calling each other, we're going to lunch, dinner, partying, whatever. Like they started giving me their music and being like, dude, play this on your rock show. Like that was from fucking the Korn guys, from the fucking Queens of the Stone Age, fucking the Foo Fighters.
And the same thing was happening. You're telling my story. And that's what was happening with me in gangster rap. This is a perfect example. Go ahead. Sorry. This is a perfect of how Power was working. You had C-Minus in the rock world becoming friends with all the rock guys to the point where he is embedded in the culture. You know what I'm saying? And then here we are with the rap guys embedded in the culture. Go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
Dude. It was going both ways, like so rad, because everyone like in the rock world had heard me on the radio. And they were like, oh, dude, you play some cool shit. And then people knew about the underground show with Friday Night Flavors. So they automatically knew like how I was getting down. And then when they come and see me DJ, whether it was opening for the Queens or the Foo Fighters, or they had seen me on the Korn tour, they were like, oh shit, like, dude, you really DJ. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I do, dude. You know what I mean? And so I had started to get to know all these band members. So they started giving me the music. And I had the rock show at my right here, before me. And I was like, you know what? Hell yeah. So when K-Rock would do a promotion like, yo, Monday morning, we're about to play, new Tool. And then my show would be Sunday night. It's from 10 p.m. to midnight. I would be like,
here's a new Tool.
You guys want to hear? And I play the song that they were going to first fucking, the new single is called Schism. And then I would fucking go, all right, we're starting off with the new Schism. And then in another couple songs, be like, you guys want to hear more off the Tool record?
Yeah.
Like, and dude, like, even like, and just getting like, back when the internet was still becoming a thing, like a friend of mine who used to give me all these really cool leaks of shit that was on the internet. Like I had first got the fucking, the Audio Slave demos when it was, they had just someone leaked them. And so a friend of mine was like, yo, here's the new Rage Against the Machine with Chris Cornell. And I'm like, killer. And I played that shit. And dude, my homie Peter Katzis, who was manager for Korn and Biscuit and Cube and The Firm, he had just started managing Audio Slave. I didn't know that, but he called me. He's like, "Yo, where the fuck did you get this shit? Fucking, how dare you fight?" I was like, "Yo, homie, this shit is on the internet, right?" And he's like, I don't give. I was like, yo, people are downloading it right now. I played it and people are now aware of it. He's like, fucking next time you better get fucking clearance. And I was like, well, yeah, give me the finished one. This is the demos. And he was like, fine. But like he had to call and yell at me because like they were like, how the fuck did C-Minus get our fucking demo?
Yeah.
And dude, and also like, the Queens, like I was playing No One Knows and Go With the Flow and all that shit because when I went on tour, first thing Josh did was like, here, dude, you're on the album. Fucking here's your copy. I was like, killer.
Wow.
And so I would then I started playing it in my sets and then, playing on my radio show. I made a copy for my team when I was home, while I was doing out on tour, like they could play, here's a copy of it. Play it on the fucking show as much as you want, man. And fucking that's how we broke a lot of that shit. Dude, playing the new, I had a really good relationship with Interscope. So they were always like, here, dude. And they would tell me, here's the new Weezer. Here's the new Limp Bizkit, Well, the Limp Bizkit I actually got from Lethal. But like, here's this, here's that. And they would be like, we know about your show. Here you go. And I was able to fucking, dude, I was playing new Weezer before K-Rock and they were pissed. There were so many bands that they were teasing these, like, we're going to play this tomorrow on the Kevin and Bean show, which is their morning show. We're going to play this at fucking 9 a.m. And I'd be like, you can hear it right now at 10:20. Like, let's go. Like,
but that's the attitude. I love it. It was like that, but those were the breaks.
Can I say something? Let me ask a question and also give you a compliment because I don't think, I challenge anyone in the chat. Man, Mizza, you work with a lot of DJs on the radio. Is there anyone that you can think of that has been that deep in hip hop and that deep in rock?
I've always said that about C-Minus. C-Minus is his own island. Not only is he's one of the best technical and most underrated, cleanest DJs and programmers. I mean, if he wants to do a radio set, he can do a radio set. If he wants to do an underground hip hop, set, a Dilla set, a Korn set, a Nirvana set, and it will sound fucking perfect.
He does it every day and he does it still every day. He does it every day on Twitch. You can follow.
He's a fucking surgeon. And he's a multi-genre mash-up surgeon that can make it sound. Look, the toughest part about being a DJ, and maybe C-Minus can tell me if I'm crazy, but one of the hardest parts about being a DJ is the programming, is reading the crowd, and then making the records that they would like the priority and not what you want to play. You vibe to them. That's what a DJ is. And to be able to blend Nirvana into Juvenile, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not easy. But your boy will find the fucking transition and make it sound palatable and everybody will rock to it.
Yeah.
I'll never forget hearing Smell Like Teen Spirit or Lithium or one of those fucking records coming out of fucking like an Ice Cube record. And I was like, wait a minute, that fucking worked. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, I was always like, I never really called them mashups, even though everyone else did. They were more blends to me. Like I was always coming from like the technical of DJ.
I meant mashup as programming. I didn't mean
absolutely.
You were cuts and 3 turntables on them. You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right. And no, I'm just saying, like being able to genre hop as much as I did, that all came from like just, DJing and talking to all my friends about music, like and knowing that like people that I work with that are in a higher position are fucking just as fanatic about music that we are. You know what I mean? Like, and just to know that like you know, like someone that still gets excited when they hear a good song, dude. That to me is like, yeah, that's my dude. That's my people right there. That's like my kinship right there. Like those are my kinfolk. Like those are, I want to be with, I think the nerdy conversations about music and fucking knowing different shit like we, all of us DJs do, you know, when we talk like super like fucking, well, who produced the the Ted Temperton of, blah, 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 like we can go into fucking, um, into those kind of fucking conversations. And I think that's good to keep our brain active in that way. So I cherish all my music nerd friends and music enthusiasts because that's what keeps me fucking going. Like to know that whenever I see, Damien, it's like, fuck yeah, dude, there's another one. Here we are, dude. There's another one of us. And I think that's really fucking cool because sometimes you don't get to have those people around at will, or sometimes you wish you could have those kind of like some people don't have it like that, and
right.
I think everyone should, because there's nothing more, dude, than getting inspired by having a conversation with a fellow music nerd that makes you go on a wormhole fucking discovery of some crazy shit for like the next 5 hours, and you're just fucking you're on your phone, like you're doing you're on your fucking laptop, fucking get shit downloading shit, and you're on your phone going, oh, I gotta fucking find this and then about it, dude. Oh my god, dude, I can't tell you, those are so, that's better than drugs.
Well, I mean, just think about the time that you spent in record stores alone. That was like, the barbershop, quote unquote, for DJs was the record store, and then also the digging and everything, just that whole experience and being a part of that camaraderie. And then, on your level being, you guys seeing all the records coming in early and you've got people early submitting. I mean, that had to have been amazing.
Oh yeah, like I think like I've told there's been a couple of fucking times where I like, and Damien remembers this, that like sometimes labels would send us in 92 The Beat a record, they'd messenger at the same time, and whoever got it and played it first, well, but they were definitely sending them off at the same time. So if it was something like Cypress Hill or something that we're like, we immediately like would go into Damien's office, listen to a record, and he'd be like, what do you think? And if it was rad, we were like, yo, this shit is dope. Or if it was not, we'd be like, yo, this isn't dope. And he always, like, whenever if it was dope, like when we first got Green Thumb, like we immediately threw it on, and I was mixing at the time, and fucking I go in and fucking he was like, yo, new Cypress Hill vinyl, blah, blah, blah. He's all, we just got the CD, here we go. And so I was already familiar with the record because fucking I had been talking to Chris Schwartz, who was like the CEO of like Rough House, and he was so fucking, I had dinner with him in New York, and then fucking he was like, we talked music, and he was like, fuck yeah, I know you're a music dude, so let me send you the record. And so he sent me the CD to my house, and then when the record finally got shipped to radio, it was like it got sent off both times, at the same time, once to Power, once to 92.3 to B. And mind you, B&M had a show called Soul Assassins Radio at the time. But we got the song, and I was in the mix. We were doing like these mixed weekends. And
Soul Assassins was on our competitor, by the way. It wasn't on our station.
Yeah, they were on
our competitor.
Yes. And so I immediately got the record, threw it in, we played it, and it was fucking gold. Dude, it was fucking gold. And at that point, and then we just like, that record grew. Yeah. And just to know that like we were there, like to like, it was awesome, dude, because whenever, Damizza had anything like music, like, here you go, dude, check this out. Oh yeah, this is dope. Like,
I said something the other day. I said Power 106 at that time was the Friday night flavors guys they just let loose in the program.
Yeah.
That was the vibe. Is everybody would come and hang out on Friday nights, even if like I was gonna go to Santa Barbara or something after work. I didn't leave at 5 o'clock. I stayed all the way till Friday Night Flavors. I went out and ate, and then came back and went to Friday Night Flavors. That was the meeting spot. That's where everybody would go on Friday nights. Is come hang out at Friday Night Flavors. Baker Boys and the Roughnecks. You know what I mean? Like, it was dope. I mean, Friday nights in Power, that's the place to be. You'd catch Rage in the hallway. You'd see, just randomly people would be there. They wouldn't even go on the air. You'd see Capadonna, hanging out talking to Rage outside. You know what I mean? Like, and not even be on the radio. You know what I mean? Like, it was a vibe, but there were no dicks. Everybody was cool. You know what I mean? C told the story. I got one of the tape stories too. Is Vice and I went up to Dr. Dre's house one day, and he's like, "Yo, hey man, come check out the album." And I'm like, "Okay." And I thought he was gonna play us the album. So he gives us a tour of his house. It's me and Vice. We get outside. He opens up his trunk, pulls out his CD changer, grabs the old CDs. It just said Bernie Grundman mastering Chronic. 2001. He opens it up. He takes his CD out, puts it in, and hands it to me, and says, "I know you won't play this. Just let me know what you think. I don't like this EQ around the 13th or the 12th track. Blah 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 blah. I don't know. Let me know what you think." And Vice and I are sitting there just looking at him, going like, "You're giving me the Chronic to go listen to? Don't play it? Sure." And Vice and I had that same, bumping, going back to Cali moment, just listening to the Chronic for the first time. And Vice, we talked recently, and he's like, "Dude," he goes, "I can't believe that Dr. Dre gave you his copy like that." But that's the way that everybody in music was. We were music fans, and they knew it. So, getting an early, record from the Foo Fighters, or getting an early record for Dr. Dre, we were their ears. They were A&Ring to our taste, to our radio station. You know what I mean? And because Power had the power to break artists and songs. And if you got the right member on the team to champion that shit, then you knew the team would support. If she came in and said, "This new Cypress Hill is the lick," he's the expert in Cypress Hill. Surround yourself with people smarter than you. If he comes in and tells me this Foo Fighters record's going to work in rotation on a rap station, I'd try it before I'd question
it. You brought something up organically that I wanted to ask. You had access to all of these records early, and you said, how you had the Chronic early. Tell me, because my question is, with your history and exchanges with Dre and the Circle, why didn't the Detox album come out? And did you ever hear any of it off of it?
I don't think Dre ever intended to do Detox, and it was kind of my fault that it got announced. I think he was a little mad at me for a little while because of it.
It's your fault that it got announced. Well, he made headphones.
Do you remember the Bishop Lamont video?
Absolutely.
The Bishop Lamont video where he said, "My Detox is coming." Well, what happened is Bishop said to me, "I need to get Dr. Dre on tape talking about my album. Can you do this?" And I was like, he goes, Dre will do whatever you say. Just come to the studio. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I get to the studio. Bishop hands me a camera, and I say, "Hey, do you know what a YouTube is?" And he goes, "I know I have one, but I don't know what it does." And I said, "Here, stand right there. I'm going to record you. Bishop, stand right there. You announce Detox, and you say your album's coming." He's like, "Yeah, okay." So they do it. I tape it. We put it on YouTube. The next morning, I wake up and it's on empty. Oh, so as I'm walking out the studio, his security looks over at me and goes, "Damien, what are you up to?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Every time you show up, something happens. He gets in trouble, and we have to clean it up. What are you up to?" And I was like, "Nothing." And he goes, "Oh, I guess we'll see you tomorrow," or something like that. The next morning, MTV News, Dr. Dre announces Detox. I didn't hear from Dre again for quite a while.
Y'all heard it here, man. I don't know have you ever told that story?
I never told that story.
Well, thank you for blessing us with that one too, because that's crazy. Because, I mean, so I guess that answers the question. Yeah, you definitely didn't hear anything off of the Detox album after that.
What? But I mean, I don't think it was something he wanted to do. I don't know. That's where he was at. I mean, they were talking about it, but when I asked him about it, he said, "I have one vocal that I like recorded. Like, it's not even processed like that." So I just, me being the fan of wanting to see things happen, that's just how I did it in 2001 as well.
Yeah.
Stand here, do this, boom. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we all did. I mean, let's take a chance. Let's do something different. And we would take those chances even with our people that we were starstruck by. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about the boogie sometimes. This music business just takes you, uses you as a tool for a moment to make some cool shit happen, and then voila. You know what I mean? Whether it's breaking a record or you just happen to be at a gas station and run into the lead singer, so-and-so, he slides you a CD and play it before K-Rock and stir the pot. You know what I mean? Like, and it causes a buzz and people are talking about that band. They did it strategically too. You know what I mean? Having Power play the record before you makes the other radio station more thirsty. We've got to own this now. We need to play them even more. So you have to think of the chess, not checkers, that's being played by some of the artists too. They saw us as the gateway to starting a buzz on their project and leveraging their labels.
Yeah.
And if somebody as credible as C-Minus is playing it on the rap station before the rock station, then what? You know what I mean? Then it makes the rock station treat their acts better. And that's what I'm stoked about is, C-Minus doing that. Look at how he improved the culture of rock and how rock artists are treated by rappers. You know what I mean?
Man.
Yeah.
He bridged that gap between rock and rap. Socially.
So Damien, did you ever hear the story how how Tyler the Creator is hella inspired by Pharrell, right? Like,
no. Pharrell, yes.
Yeah. So like he's, even Pharrell took him under as and kind of hung with him and they became really cool friends. So and he credits his infatuation with NERD and music and stuff is that he had heard NERD on a Sunday night around 10 something on a radio station. And it happened, he's on Power 106, it was on a show. And so that happened to be the show that that was my rock show.
Yeah.
And so what we were doing on those Sundays, I never thought in a million years that, you don't know, you just do it. Like people, no one knows shit. We're just doing it. We're going forward, and so the boogie. And so what ended up happening is because of my show, one of the greatest contemporary hip hop artists of right now, found one of his major influences.
Still.
And I think that's it's pretty fucking brilliant. And happy to be here.
Well, and that's one thing that people don't realize about the radio or that time. When I said the stuff about Jay-Z and everybody was in the comments like, oh, that's a lie, there's no way, da 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 da. It's like, bro, we were all in high school. Jay-Z wasn't Jay-Z. He was a new artist. I mean, he wasn't, you know what I mean? He was pushing who you with. I remember the Baker Boys calling me in and saying, not another Jay-Z record, bro. We've tried. Like Sunshine, who you with? Blah, blah, blah. No, we're good. You know what I mean? And even those interviews were a little tense because, sometimes they were forced from programming.
Yeah.
But they don't realize how important something like just that one little Vise saying, rest in peace, Vise, can you get this kid on this show with that? That made Wake Up Show jealous, that made programming jealous, that made Dr. Dre call a radio station. I mean, it's the same thing with 50 Cent. 50 Cent got signed off Eminem coming to the radio or calling a radio station saying, I need to find this guy. and saying, I want to go in Power 106 and do an attention Kmart shoppers for freaking 50 Cent. Goes on the radio and says, does anybody know 50 Cent? Tell him to call me. Next thing you know, he's in LA signing $1 million deal.
Damn, that's crazy.
You know?
Yeah, man. You right.
I mean, I love the story about the hard knock life and how you made everyone, you missed the phone call for the DJ call. They were killing the project. It was dead.
See, will you answer this question? Did everybody think that the hard knock life thing at first was funny, or am I crazy?
Did everyone what?
That everybody said Hard Knock Life was corny when it first came out.
I mean, half of us did, yeah. I mean,
really.
I'm not saying to put anybody on the spot. It's just I had said that some people said that, and everybody's like, no, Jay-Z's the god. It was always dope. No, the Annie sample threw some hardcore DJs off.
Yeah, well,
I thought that was hard as fuck.
It was hard, but it was to certain people who didn't like. I was stoked because it was a 45 King beat. And
exactly.
So like I was like, oh dude, this gets my full 100% fucking like support. Like we played it on flavors, even when it was added to rotation for the mix show or the regular like mixes, like because our thing was once on Friday Night Flavors, we would play a song till it got to a point. Then if it got added into regular rotation or into the mix list, then we were like, okay, we can take it out of flavors because it's gone to the next level. So,
and they would incubate those records too. I mean, let's make sure that we put that in there. Is they were breaking those records, so it was like having, that was the oven before the skillet. You know what I mean? Like they'd warm it up and they'd get it basted right and all that, and then you get to cooking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100.
So go ahead. That was a season. Sorry,
no, it's all good. Like so like we would support like the Hard Knock Life on our show, but there was a couple of DJs in our crew. We had an amazing motley crew of DJs that were pretty.
I'm talking more the power mixers. You know what
power
I mean?
mixers. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm talking about. There was some of us that we supported it, but others were like, yeah, it's cool. It's kind of corny.
Yeah.
So, and being that it was like 77 BPMs probably didn't help it, but it still was an amazing record.
Hey, but the first time he performed that thing at a powerhouse, oh my God.
Yeah, it ruled.
When that thing got going though, that thing had fuego.
Absolutely.
I mean, like that.
Yeah,
that
it solidified.
When you play that on a large system in a large format to a crowd, that drop, boom, boom, boom. I mean, it just had a bounce to it. Though.
It's man, dude, it's 45 King, baby. You know what I mean, like,
dude, and and you think of like what another song that like I think that 45 King did that ended up being a 100% fucking bona fide classic was Stan Eminem. Like, so I'm sure his work in Hard Knock Life led to Stan. And, and I will say it to me, I think Hard Knock Life is one of Jay-Z's greatest records because it's undeniable. And the way he plays with that beat and fucking makes the fucking, it's amazing. And then the same thing with like the Dido sample for the
think how different those records are too.
Exactly.
I mean, think how the difference in the science of those two records to do an Annie kind of thing and then go Dido to show you, like, musically, think of Mark's headspace where he was at. Like, you're in some Annie, you're digging in some pretty different crates there, buddy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, correct.
And that's that's why he's a 45 King. But I'm just saying,
yeah. I mean, being around, being around hip hop and being able to know that like when we saw that record come through, or that like we as a hip hop show were able to get 45 King on our show, and he would actually bring 45s and do a 45 set, and me and Jay would just sit in the control room sometimes and just like watch him, like, holy shit, this dude, because he would do this thing where he would he would do his thing and cut in the next 45. Then he'd get the last one he just played and just boom, throw it in a corner. And he had this crazy stack of 45s. Like he would just, as soon as he was done with it, bam, boom, chucked it like into the back of a crate or a fucking right in a corner. It was fucking amazing. And then at the end of it, he just grabbed his 45s, quickly organized them, and was like, all right, dude, later. Like, 45 King was fucking so good. But, like, you know, being able to, like, have him on and, like, do interviews with him and just, you know, different producers and stuff, like, we were able to, like, do because of Friday Night Flavors. Like, that shit was amazing.
Dude, what a dope show, dog. I mean, Ghost, I got to give you love, dog. What a dope show because... You know, being able to sit there and have a first-hand account of, you know, the 45K, how he ran his set.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so inspirational for a DJ. You know what I mean? To hear, like, from C-Minus the Great, how another great got down. You know what I mean? Like, that's so love, man. That's so love.
You know, like
that's what keeps us legendary, bro. That's what keeps us legendary.
Yeah, dude, fucking, we did. I mean, we used to take some. I mean, before you got there, I don't know if you ever heard this story about me and Chalk. So, like, when me and Chalk first got hired, we were hired to do overnights, right? So sometimes that meant 2 to 6. Sometimes it meant 12 to 6. Sometimes there wasn't a slow jam. We had a slow jam show that was Josefa Salinas. Rest in peace. Love you, Josefa. So we would sometimes do 2 to 6 a.m. and, you know, Monday through Friday after Josefa, you know, or whatever. So, but there are times where me and Chalk decided, you know what, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So we started our own mix show, and we started at 2 a.m. We went 2 to 3, and we started having like guests come through, like. We had like E-Man come through. Henry did a set. Here's where we had Shortcut come through.
This was an unsanctioned event, might I add.
Absolutely. We were not like Michelle eventually told us, like, all right, guys, you're going to have to stop the mixing at night. And I was like, oh, shit, you heard? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, how'd you hear? And she's like, well, we started noticing the BDS detection is like between 2 and 3, and it wasn't what we programmed. And I was like, damn, all right. She goes, yeah, you got to stop. You got to stick to the music we're playing. And I was like, all right, you got it. But she was so cool about it. But dude, I think we had some of the Beat Junkies. We had Shortcut. Apollo came by, and yeah, dude, we were just. Yeah, we were. We decided to start our own mix show on unsanctioned.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good.
Friend just came in. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So that's the kind of chances we took. Like, they kind of, you know, and it went on for, I would say, probably like, I think it was a couple months we did it before anyone caught on, which was crazy.
That's
President Damizza.
I'm on a podcast. Sorry, people keep walking in. I'm like, I'm on a podcast. They think I'm just having a conversation about life. I'm like, guys, I'm on a podcast. Sorry.
Hey, they're all welcome though. Salute.
Yo, I've been looking in the chat. They're saying they don't have any questions because he's telling such good stories.
Well, no, there is a question though. We do have a question from one of the homies, Gorilla Strong, big supporter of everything that I do and everything, all the family and the homies, usually suspect the B-Boys Underground and
Gorilla Strong.
He wants to know, what is y'all's dream sesh, dead or alive?
Wow.
To smoke with?
Dream session, like smoke and like just chop it up. I guess, you know what I mean? When we talk about the sesh, usual suspect, you know, you sit back, you grab your favorite plant, you grab your favorite liquid, and you sesh.
Okay. So just one-on-one with another person?
Or a group of people, yeah.
Or a group of people?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Wait, I want to ask two. Can we just make this a hybrid?
Yeah.
Who would you, and what was the one that you did? Because I know Sia smoked with everybody.
Who would I? Okay, and who was the
Who
one that I
would
did?
you and who did you? What is the ultimate? Who would you like Jimi Hendrix or
Who?
something? You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
smoke with, and then like for me, Be Real or something. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right, right. Okay, so um, I would definitely love to smoke a fucking an OG Kush joint with Bob Marley and
Hell
oh
yeah.
converse
wow,
with him about
yeah,
like just kind
the
of
world,
absorb his game and just get
yeah,
kind of just get. I would need some of that in my
his
soul
vibe,
to fuel me for the rest of
yeah.
my life, you know.
Oh.
Um, I would say I've smoked with both members of Cheech and Chong.
What?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Live
Oh,
on
I don't
air
have no better
Yeah.
than that.
and off air and in a car. Like,
Yeah, I first smoked with Cheech at a corn session for Follow the Leader, which just turned
what?
26. Yeah. So
Wow.
because I was around for the making of Follow the Leader from beginning to end in the studio over at NRG in North Hollywood. And because I had got my thumb dislocated and I couldn't DJ for like 3 months because I was on disability and fucking it was awesome. It was fucking kind of a bummer, but I got to go see fucking Korn make Follow the Leader. So one of the days they were like, "Yo, Cheech is coming in." I was like, "Oh, dude, I brought some weed and fucking my pipe and fucking." And he came in. They were doing a cover of "Earache My Eye." They were doing the Korn version of "Earache My Eye" from Up in Smoke, so from Alice Bowie. And so fucking he wanted to smoke before and then in between and after, and fucking I got a chance to smoke with him like right before, and he was hella cool. And I remember kind of just watching him do his vocal take I was just like between like that far from like the studio window just
Wow.
watching, and he was just fucking rad. And then smoking with Tommy Chong on Be Real TV, and then smoking with both of them together. Yeah, so that's probably the biggest as far as like, yeah.
Yeah. You got the top, bro. You got the top of the food chain.
And also, I mean, of course, Cypress Hill. Like I've smoked with every individual member of Cypress Hill. Yeah, dude. Just those are the biggest.
What about you, Miz? Like you? I know
Fuck,
you.
I ain't on that level.
Nah, but like your dream sesh to be able to do. Like, who would it be? And then
My
I know
dream
you've
sesh.
and also who have you? So for you, like,
Yo, I'm gonna go kind of left field with this, but Elizabeth Taylor.
Okay.
I would love to smoke out with Elizabeth Taylor.
That's
why
tight.
is that?
Just get real high and talk about old Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Dope.
And just like the entertainment business and the music business from one of their eyes. You know what I mean? Like how it evolved and what. Because after that golden era, and they had the '80s and all of that kind of stuff, and the Eddie Murphys and all of that, there was a change, from her era into the next era of Hollywood. Now we have this era of Hollywood, stuff like that. But just how it was done from the black and white conversion to color and Cleopatra and the sets and the, you know what I mean? Like, and she's more, and plus she was the gangster. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She played the Hollywood better than they played her. She got out alive.
How many
and she was
husbands
always yeah, but she was always a thug. She met somebody in rehab that was a carpenter and she liked him. Fuck it, I'm marrying that fool. You know what I mean? Like, she just did not give a fuck. I love that woman. And she just reminded me a lot of my grandma. But rest in peace,
cool.
Granny. But
what up, Granny?
I've been lucky enough to smoke with a lot of people that I've wanted to smoke with. Snoopy being the main one. Nate, rest in peace. Nate Dogg was great to smoke with. I've smoked with the entire Dog Pound. Together and, you know what I mean? Together and separate. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, there's that.
Did you did you ever smoke with Dre?
The funniest thing is that I have never been in the room when he's smoking.
Okay.
I've never seen. Our dealings have always been quick and in situations. They were like Dre. You know what people don't realize about Dre is when Dre's working, there is no party.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like he is a surgeon. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something going on that work-wise that needs to get done, yeah, the party may be going on, but he is focused. You know what I mean? Like he is a consummate professional.
Yeah, man.
At least when I was around. You know what I mean? So, I never got that chance. But I will tell you, one time he came to the Shade Shice video shoot for me, and I remember some guy walked up to him and handed him a nugget, a Kush nugget, and he handed it to me. And I said, "Oh, so you're giving me weed?" And he goes, "Man, I can't smoke that." I said, "Why?" And he goes, "What if it's laced?" Yeah, they got Dr. Dre all fucked up, huh? And I was like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he said, "I can't take weed from anybody, because, what if there's something on it?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people trip out because for us, like with trying other people's weed, like since B gets his own brand is so good and it's clean and there's not, that's really all we smoke. So it's hard to trust a lot of other people unless you know them, right? Otherwise, you're going to take weed from a stranger, D, and be like, sure.
Yeah.
You got to know someone, right? I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
So you mentioned,
when I went to B and I said, "B, I've got anxiety. What's the best thing for it?" He went over and like a little card file almost and just went, "Try this." You know what I mean? And yeah, I was stuck on stupid, but I did not get paranoid. It's the first time I've smoked weed, not get paranoid, and it actually, chilled me out. So I mean, he knows what he's doing with the shit.
He's the doctor.
He's the doc.
He's the doctor. Speaking of the doc, man, like, did you smoke with the doc? Because I know you're good friends with him, who is,
not with Doc either. You know what I mean? Like, Snoopy and the cats that were, the musicians, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, all day long. But when I was working with Dre or Doc, it was a serious endeavor. It wasn't joking around. It was like, we're here to do something nutty. When you're in a room with Dr. Dre, that something's gonna happen. When you're at that level, there's no, you know what I mean? So it's just like, figure out why you're here. Like, and with me, there was always like a little imposter syndrome because, I'm the biggest fan. So the fact that I'm even talking to Dr. Dre, I'd be invited to a birthday party or something, I wouldn't go. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was always, I didn't want to, ever put myself in a position where I was around too much, or I put myself in a position to get played or something like that. I don't want to. It's business. You know what I mean? Like
100.
I never went to a Diddy party. I knew Diddy really, really well. We worked together a lot. Never saw that side of him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because I was never in a social. It's like, for instance, I was saying about Be Real. Be Real and I known each other, almost 30 years. This was the first time that we actually sat down and talked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, trip,
because
right?
we're just always never had a problem with each other. Never, always worked well together. We did powerhouses together. We did promotions together. We did. He rapped. He was the first person to rap on one of my beats when we did the rap jingles. You know what I mean? Like when I was in '96, before I was music director. You know what I mean? He was like, and I didn't even remember that till we were on our way. He was the first rapper to rap on one of my beats.
Wow.
And Bigger B did that. And it was for a rap jingle for Power 106. You know what I mean? But we never sat down and talked.
That's crazy, dude. I thought for sure you guys have, but he was like, "Oh yeah."
I mean, not that I recall.
Wow.
That's wild.
That's dope, man. And y'all need to make sure you watch that episode of the Dr. Green Thumb.
Yeah.
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah, man. So when you mentioned your grandma, and I know that's a big thing in your history, I wanted to ask, basically, I think it's really important that we share, personal stories of growth, right? And what was one of the biggest things that you walked away when you walked away from everything, when your grandma got sick and you were integrated with all of these people and all of these projects, you're working with Mariah Carey, you're working with Dre, Snoop, Dogg, like all of these iconic during a crazy time in hip hop, and you walked away from all of that to take care of your grandmother, which is one of the most respectable things. Salute to you. That's commendable. You were in your figuring out phase. What was the biggest thing that you like when you separated from the business and you were like able to look back, and now that you're entering into it now, what is the thing that you're going to take with you into the next phase? And I hope you do get a chance to announce whatever the exclusive is. What is it that you want to take away that, you know, that you've learned? What's the wisdom that you can share?
Well, I mean, that time in my life right after was coming to such a complete stop. I wasn't in the best of health. I was heavily addicted to everything. And you know, what I would take away from it is the lessons that I learned about family, about, you know, the people that really love you and the people that really care about you, as opposed to how fake this business is. Because when I left the business, my phone did not ring from one person. I mean, except for, you know, the C-Minuses of the world, or the, you know, the real friends, you know. But I didn't hear from Dr. Dre. I didn't hear from Jay-Z. I didn't hear from, you know, every once in a while Murder Inc. would go on TV and say, hey, Damizza did this, you know what I mean? Like, but they were the only ones. I mean, and I was in a dark place, you know. So I take that with me, is not getting back to that place. You know what I mean? Is now I'm going to enjoy it, because most of the time I don't remember, like, not remembering that ride with C is probably because I was fucked up on pills.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, and the days just bled together. You know, I mean, I was doing Vicodin at 16 years old all the way through till a year ago. You know what I mean?
And salute to you for getting off of that, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I mean, it is what it is. It was fucked up. Yeah. But I take my sobriety with me. You know what I mean? That's what I take, is now, you know, doing it and being as surgical as I've been. I haven't felt like Damian Young in a long time. You know, I was falling into the Damizza character, I guess, a little too much. Do you know what I mean?
Understood.
But yeah, but I take that with me. I take those dark times and know I don't want to go back to it. And just having that inspiring time with Grandma, you know, there was nothing like it. There was no question. You know, there was never a question. You know, and even if I was trying to tell myself I want to get back in the music business, I want to do something, I would immediately self-sabotage it in some way, shape, or form. I get fucked up and purposely say something dumb to where I wouldn't be able to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Salute. Well, I mean, that's huge. That's a very huge thing, because that's growth and that's wisdom, and that's things that, like, you know, to be able to impart to everyone. Like, you know, if you're going through your journey, there's always a chance, no matter where you are in your journey, to just say, yo, today is a new day, and we're gonna it's just this is who I am, and this is what we're gonna do, and do it. And, you know, you know, your mom, she's amazing. She's in a chat. She's like all of the Twitch mom of the community, that the kitchen sink community. Yeah, Mama C, man. And she's, you know, you're still fortunate to have her with you, but I know she taught you a lot, and she was with you through everything. Someone wanted to know what was the first vinyl set that you spun and what age, you know, and I know she empowered you through all of that, and this is so important in your life. What's the biggest lesson that you learned from your mom? Like, wisdom wise, you know?
Can't hear you, see.
Yeah, we can't. Oh, you know what? Did you go out of your headphones? I think you got to switch your audio input. You might have to go out and rejoin. My bad. So, yo, check. We'll do this and we'll pivot. Damizza.
Yes, sir.
You've got a project coming out.
Yes.
What are you able to announce? I mean, well, we'll even talk about the either that or the convention or both that you or this the
both October 9th, because they're both going to be involved. October 19th, at the Lowe's Hotel in Hollywood, we're having a synergy marketing / how do I make it in the music business seminar convention kind of thing. And the Damizza Presents album is coming as well. I'm not saying what label it's on yet. The deal is still, the ink isn't dry yet. I'm still going back and forth on it, but I'm doing a deal for the Damizza Presents album, and it'll be a lot like Where I Want to Be. But just, when I did Where I Want to Be, I wasn't ready to be a producer. That was the first producer thing I did, really. You know what I mean? I was still so green, you know what I mean? But now this one is going to be like a full circle moment for me. The first one was Where I Want to Be with Nate Dogg, Corrupt, and Shade. KG from Naughty by Nature and I did the music together, or he did the music and I did the vocals. So I'm going to do more of that. And then October 19th, we have Steve Rifkin, who created Loud, who signed the Wu-Tang Clan, Akon, Fat Joe, Big Pun, the Alcoholics, Exhibit, all of those, and is the godfather of the street team promotion and marketing. He'll be there on the panel. I have Michelle S., who is a professor at Syracuse, who is the program director that hired Be Real at the Beat for Soul Assassins Radio and was our competitor in LA, but now she's Syracuse. She was there at the beginning of Napster. She worked at Hits. Just one of the most knowledgeable people on the planet when it comes to radio and records. She'll be there. We have the president of A&R for 10K and Hitmaker that signed La Russell, has songs on the chart right now. They just did that deal with Warner. Brian Shafton, who does Tech Nine. He's the distributor for Tech Nine and Chief Keef and E40, but Eric Bellinger. But he also started the independent game with Master P in the Priority days. So, and Bootleg Kev will be there to talk about podcasting and advertising and podcasting and synergy with marketing as far as podcasting goes. So I'm trying to find the smartest guys in every place, put them all in a room, and then 200 of my new friends from Instagram, I invited and said, come on down, get some tickets. And by the way, if you're a producer or artist, we're going to be making songs in the back.
There it is, folks. Damn. October 19th, y'all. October 19th, man.
Isn't that crazy?
I have an opportunity to get out there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there he is.
Now, just like Verizon.
Yeah. So the most inspirational words that you've learned from your mom, C.
The wisdom. Yeah.
I don't know. I think never take wooden nickels.
Wow. That's dope.
Don't trust yellow snow, or don't eat yellow snow.
Don't eat yellow snow.
Question, but shout out to Mama C.
I don't know. I think one of the things that made me one of the wisdoms that I pulled from her is that I don't think is that you really can make the difference in someone who believes in believing in you. You know what I mean? Even though I never had a career choice other than music, I knew when I started DJing, I was just going to do it. And she was still, as a mother, she fought hard to not be so critical, but she was like, all right, cool. This is what you're going to do. And she saw me starting to make, money from doing house parties and playing school dances and stuff. And so she knew it could go up, and she encouraged me. And I think that her encouraged showing and telling me that when there was days I wanted to give up, and she was like, keep going. You're on, I know you want to give up, but you'll be all right. And just instilling security in my insecure times, and being able to actually feel it and use it and do something with it. That was.
And as a friend watching you, I think she gave you how to be a great father.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
you always had your son with you. You always were, you know what I mean? Like, even in those days, you bring him to the radio station, show him what you were doing, and,
Oh yeah.
all of that kind of stuff.
Like, I would pick him up every other weekend, and I would just go in Baco, which is like an hour and a half away, and I'd go there, scoop him up, drive back, come back by like 10 o'clock at night, get ready for Friday Night Flavors, 12 to 3, and then but sometimes he would, if he was, if he wanted to stay up, he could come with me, either on Friday, or definitely came with me when I DJed during the weekend. He used to just come hang out, chill while I DJ.
Yeah.
So just always having him around. When I had him for like summers, like he would go every day. He'd go with me, like just like there wasn't a day that I'd be like, unless he wanted to stay with, like, if I had a girlfriend or like my mom was there. But like every time, like I just always bringing him around. So he just always, my son was there for like anytime he was with me, he was there. Like there was no separation.
And I always thought that was dope. You know what I mean?
That's so dope. Now that my daughter's getting older, my son's into sports, but my daughter is the one that loves music and is really interested in what daddy's doing and wanting to, do that. I'm taking her record shopping and having that time and kind of taking her along on this experience to be able to give her that gift of music that my parents gave me, right? And she has the love for it. My son got my love of sports. My daughter got the love of music. So
hell yeah,
it's super dope. But just to say, we wouldn't be here right now, see, if it wasn't for you, because I've said it every time. You were the one that got me through my cancer. You're the one that helped me fight my health battles right now. You're the one that inspired me to start DJing again and streaming again, doing mashups, starting open format DJing, the whole 9 yards, and even getting my hand into podcasting and starting to produce podcastings and everything and trying to make this a career again. And I just want to say I thank you, gentlemen, because I want to be respectful for your time. I want to ask and understand if you guys have to go, we can wrap it up. If you guys still want to chop it up, if you want to take some questions from the audience, let me know.
Yeah, we're here. Yeah, let's take a couple questions.
All right, so chat, look, check this out, man. I know there was one question that did not get asked that I did see.
Yes.
It was C-Minus. What was your first vinyl set, if you remember, and what age was that?
Oh my God. Well, my first vinyl set was I played my seventh grade school dance. And I got paid $50 for it. So, to me,
what songs did you play? What did you play? What was in the crate, man? What were you banging?
I was playing like Housequake. I was playing like CoverGirl, Show Me. I was playing
Information Society.
Oh yes, well I want to know what you're thinking for sure. I want to know. I was playing like
Technotronic.
Oh,
that was later. That was 90.
Oh, my bad.
My bad. What year was this?
This is 87.
87. Oh man, did you have what hip hop did you bust out?
Oh, dude, I think.
God, 87.
I mean, that's Boogie Down. That's Planet Rock.
Pause.
I mean, that's
Slick Rick.
Yeah, Public Enemy.
I think it was Rebel Without a Pause. It was Dope Man, I think.
Third Base.
Oh, Stepping into the AM. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. We used to get copies of K-Day. People would, friends of ours would record the radio, and then we would somehow get these cassettes. We would listen to them. Or every time I'd go to LA with my family, I would always study K-Day, which was on 1580 AM, not even FM. So
Julio G, West Side Radio.
Yeah, that's where Julio G comes from. And shout out to the OG Tony G and DJ Aladdin and Curtis Harmon and DJ M-Walk and Battle Cat and all these OG DJs of LA that just that we all learned. Joe Cooley, and Joe Cooley, we were just all these DJs that we paid homage to just because we listened to their mixes. Their mixes influenced us more than anybody else. I always say like that we're the products of Tony G and Julio G 100%. And and that's Baker Boys, myself, and Mr. Chalk. Like we came up with those being, Tony G and Julio G were our senseis, whether they knew it or not. We just studied how they moved and listened to how they blended stuff, and we did our best to emulate the cleanliness and funkiness of it, but we had to make it our own. We couldn't sound like them. So that
was biting.
Yeah, we had to do it,
Man, that's dope. So Becca Boo has a question for you. See,
yeah,
and Damizza, what is your favorite memory of the other person? What's your favorite memory of each other? Like, you know what I mean? Damizza, what's your favorite memory? What's your favorite memory of Damizza? Damizza, what's your favorite memory of C? That's Miss Becca Boo.
One of them that stands out to me is the Biggie thing, like, because it was the day after, like I was supposed to be at that party. He was supposed to be at that party, but our good friend E1 called us both, and we just talked the next morning. And I think being able to kind of hang together but not say a word and just listen to Going Back to Cali like over and over and over again, we were just kind of tripping. We went, and it was a trip because when we pulled up to the Peterson Museum, there was nobody there. There was like maybe a few candles, but nothing that big. Like it should have been. There should have been people hanging out, but it was like a ghost town. And we kind of went and we kind of walked there and kind of tried to make sense of it, and we didn't know. And I think both of us kind of being like not knowing and not having the answers, it was good to be like around a friend and a coworker and a fellow music head that we could just both be in like awe of like why, but not know the answer. You know what I mean? And I think to me that's when I knew that was like, damn, this is like a cool motherfucker right here, because to experience that and it was more of a feeling than it was words ever being said. You know what I mean? And it was a trip. So yeah, to get all deep and shit.
Nah, that's dope.
I'll take that one. And the other one is, and the most recent one was when I got out of the car and saw C-Minus for the first time since I saw him at KCAQ, 10 years ago or whatever it was. Wow. And just the hug. It's just the most genuine, you know who your friends are by the way they hug you. There's just a feeling. And it was like he said, it was like seeing my brother that moved to a different town, and just that moment of just seeing him, it just was a relief. It was a homecoming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, my brother, it's just so good to see you. And just the hug, it was just real. You know what I mean? And in this business of these, fish arm, hugs and I got you people, there's very few people that you come along in this business and say, no, that's a real one. You know what I mean? That's somebody I'd take a bullet for. And that's C. You know what I mean? Like our relationship has never changed, and it being still intact to that point with that love. It's, it was like we just saw each other two days ago. You know what I mean? Like it was just, and that was that will always remember. You know what I mean? As being a great moment. You know what I mean? So those two. And today, being able to hear that story again and go, oh man, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's that's dope. You know what I mean? I fucking totally forgot about that. But
being able to, one of my favorite memories is just always being able to go into your office and I would ask you about music, and there'd be CDs that were there, and it'd be rock shit or it'd be other shit. I'd be like, hey, can I have this? You'd be like, fuck yeah, take whatever you want. And you always gave me like really like, and any of the records that were there, I'd be like, hey, can I have this? You'd be like, sure. Like there was never like, no, I need to save it for this. You were like, dude, yes, and I think your willingness to always give me music made me like hold you in higher regard every time.
You know, I laugh because Michelle Mercer used to get mad at me because you remember that steel box of CDs that was in my office? There was a backup library for everything that was on the air. Well, if somebody would come in and say, hey, do you have a copy of this so I can bump it in my car? I'd always find them a copy. Or I'd order it, or I'd just steal it from the music library, give it to them, and then say, oh, I'll replace it, and then forget to replace it. So Michelle would come in and be like, what happened to, it's supposed to be 2-3 copies of everything in here. You know, it's like, my bad. Because I'd be giving the music away, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you always.
But that's what we did it for, though. See, I mean, we were doing it for the music. So it was like, if somebody didn't have the music, it was like, yo, they need to be read into, the funk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Absolutely.
And it was always the same way. If there was a record that I needed help with and something I didn't know or shit like that, I go down and see and just say, hey, what do you think of this? Or if they weren't going to let me play something, you know what I mean? I'd go to see and be like, hey, is this something you guys can play? And they'd help me break records. So it was a two-way street.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Hey, so we have another question for you from my super dope moderator, Miss G. Lorraine. Make sure you follow her. Much love to you. Thank you for helping me mod. G. Lorraine wants to know, did Damizza have a hand in Mariah Carey's song Obsessed? She calls it the greatest diss track, in her opinion, the greatest diss track of all time.
I did not have no. But I did help her write Clown.
Oh.
And it's actually kind of funny. I mean, if I tell this story, it's going to sound really bad. But we were in bed one night, and she was playing the beat, and she was asking me how the bridge should go. And I said, we should do it like Crazy Bone, blah, 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 blah. And I came up with the melody for the thing. And I realized, oh, shit. I just fucking helped her write a diss song for fucking Eminem. I'm over. You know, but
wow.
Not obsessed. But, and from what I understand, not to sound obsessed, but from what I understand and was told by her directly, is there's a couple songs that were about me personally. So I don't know whether they were obsessed or, there's a couple songs that literally had my name in it, if you listen to the background vocals.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, I know that I was subject matter, but I don't know if that was it. You know what I mean? I know it's about M, but the guy's got to go. The character has a goatee, so the running joke was it was always about M and I.
Man, y'all heard it here first. I mean, that's one right there.
That was the rumor around the camp.
Wow, man. Damn. So that's a dope ass good question, chat. And then shout out to G. Lorraine. And then Gorilla Strong wants to know, did you, Ms. or C, ever work with Ralph M?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What was the question?
Did Ms. or you, C, ever work with Ralph M?
I DJ'd with him, but I never worked on like music with him. But yeah, I would DJ gigs with him and stuff. He's dope.
Hell yeah,
and he did power a couple of times with Sun Doobie, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
He may have, yeah.
Yeah. And he was around every once in a while. I mean, Funk Dubious, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm sure we had him at shows and stuff like that. So, I mean, I know because I know I've met Ralph M several times. I mean, we had a few conversations throughout life, but never worked close.
Gotcha. The next one, G. Lorraine. I'm sorry, GMC Texas. Did either or are either of you members of the National DJ Society?
No, I'm not.
And on that note, Becca Boo, we just want to say condolences and sorry that you're homesick, and much love. She was in the comments.
Yes, absolutely, Becca Boo.
Keep your head up, kiddo.
Yes, man. Sess Boogie, who in this day and age would you guys like to work with?
Whew.
Thank you for that question.
I have the most random one probably ever. I would like to, on a DJ tip, I would love to like work with Death from Above 1979. This duo from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
They make some of the most funkiest, aggressive rock music ever that I would love to fucking contribute and fucking go to the moon with, you know. On a maybe working with like on new like beats and stuff. Fuck, dude, I don't know. D'Angelo or somebody, I don't know.
Ooh, damn, that's a good one, man. Oh shit. Ooh, man,
Yeah.
wasn't that such a like when he first blessed us when Brown Sugar came out, and then all of the remixes and just that whole album, and then going into Devil's Pie when he came. D'Angelo has made some fire.
That was my first when I got hired. That was one of my first shows that like I was ever given tickets to from a label to give. They're like, hey, you should go check out this artist we just signed. His name is D'Angelo. He's gonna be playing the House of Blues tonight. And that was my first time going to House of Blues. So I got to see him do everything off the first album and cover Can't Hide Love, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like,
wow.
So
I have a copy of that, him doing that live. That's on something I have. That's dope.
Oh, it was so good, dude. It was so good. I have a ticket somewhere.
Wow. What about you, Damiz?
You know, there's this new guitar kid. He's about 15 years old. His name is Taj Farrant. Like he just did like Prince's anniversary. Like he played the solo for Purple Rain at Prince's anniversary. He's really dope guitar player, just crazy guitar player. And he just reminds me of Stevie Ray Vaughan and shit like that. I'd love to do something with him, but in hip hop maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like something like that. I'd like to do something like that. Something a little more rock based. You know what I mean?
Like a Rick Rubin.
Because I've always produced rap. You know, the only thing I ever did was a Korn remix, and that was make Korn hip hop. But you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I did Word Up.
Word Up, that's right.
No shit.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I've done with Korn. But, you know, Hussy? But yeah, I'd like to do something with someone new like that. On the rap side, I really. What up, girl? You know, the other one I really like is there's this kid Cypress Moreno who produced the RJ Lefty Gunplay record. Some of the sampling that he's doing, I really dig the way he's doing it. So there's an engineer Tizio I really like, or Tizio that I really like, who's doing a lot of really creative stuff in mixing. You know, I put him and Dave Way and John Marie Horvath on a three-way call. Dave Way did everything from Harrison from the Beatles and Macy Gray and Michael Jackson and all of that. And John Marie Horvath and him worked together on Teddy Riley, with Teddy Riley for Michael Jackson. And, you know, putting those three together, I'd like to do a master class with them, you know, just talk about engineering and sonics and stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I want to try and do, you know, is get some of these legacy guys and some of these OGs with these young guys to talk about, you know, stuff. You know, that's the phase I'm in. I mean, you can tell kind of with the Instagram and stuff, is I'm being Robin Hood. I'm going out here and I'm finding all of these OGs that have all this information and stealing it from them and giving them all the kids so our shit starts sounding better and we get more moments like that. You know what I mean? Where we hear those and get goosebumps. And, you know, these kids right now are all saying, why doesn't my shit sound like that? They hear 2001 and they're like, why does my shit sound like that? You know, they hear Kendrick Lamar and they go, that's a real verse. Why don't I sound like that? So, I mean, there's this level up in the game, but there's no mentors to teach them. So that's why I'm doing the thing October 19th is to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So put the OGs in the room, put the young people in the room, and say, tell them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's fix this. So I'm
Man.
Oh yeah.
Dope questions. Thank you, chat, for that, man. Salute.
That's what I get for getting stoned and going on a tangent. My bad, guys.
No. I mean, that's good. So, I mean, I have a
Dude,
question.
see, that story is so fucking dope. God damn. I can't believe I didn't remember that Peterson Auto Museum shit. That's fucking crazy. And going back to Cali, fuck.
Yeah, man.
That's history.
Dude. That was crazy because I remember, E1 called us both.
Wow.
That's amazing. From me, I have a question that I want to ask. I want to know from both of y'all. I need your Suge Knight story because I like to say that I am a death row aficionado and historian.
Man, Suge was funny. Suge was great. See, were you in the room when I brought Suge Knight to the mixer meeting?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
Remember the picture we took? There's a picture we took too. So
go ahead and tell them the story.
I remember because Damizza, like the day, like I think it was like a day or two before I was in his office going through his CDs per the usual, and he walked in. He's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, mixer meeting, we're gonna have Suge Knight." For real? He's like, "Yeah, dude, he's gonna play us some new. He wants to play us some of the new Death Row stuff." And I was like, "All right, cool." Like, fuck it. All right, cool. And this was right in the middle. You know, it was the new and untouchable Death Row. Like, you know, he was doubling down on, you know, and he had there was a kid that sounded like Tupac.
Oh yeah, that was
Young something. I forgot. Or and so YGK. It was something. And
it was YG, wasn't it? No, it wasn't YG.
No, it wasn't YG. So Damizza's like, yeah, we're gonna meet in the Power 106 boardroom, and that's where, you know, we would have guests who would play us music at the same time. They'd feed us, you know, like get us cool, you know, they're like cool like food or whatever. So this motherfucker came in, and he was like he was sweating, like he was nervous, and we were over here thinking that he was gonna be like some like super intimidating, like play my shit, like Debo from Friday. We thought it was gonna be that kind of thing, and and he came in nervous.
It was the realist.
And he came in and just was like super nervous and was like talking to us all like really cool and calm, and just was like, yeah, if you guys need anything from us, we got you. You know, I just want to know what you guys think of this stuff, because, you know, it all starts with you. He came in respecting us and nervous to be there, because it was just him playing us his music. There was really no one else from the label in the room. It was all of us power mixers, which was like E-Man, Mr. Chalk, DJ Vice, Henry. I think Koki was there. I was there. Damien was there. Like, it was like all of the main. I think Humpty might have been there too. And we were just like all this kind of like sitting around, just like, holy shit! Like, Suge Knight is really like asking our opinion on shit. Like,
well, from his point of view, Suge doesn't get invited places. You know what I mean? Like, people don't invite Suge over. Like, that was his mentality of it. Every time I'd ask him to do something, you know, he would be like, man, no one's invited me to a powerhouse before. You know, I don't get invited to concerts. So, like, this is your house. I'll respect it. So he was always on his best behavior. He was always so cool. Man. The ones that treated him with respect and invited him places and said, hey, you want to be a part of this? Then he acted, you know, whatever. It's just when he found stuff out that, you know, that people tried to get past him because they didn't want to tell him or they were afraid of him, he'd smell that on you, and then it became something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Smells fear. Like, don't let anybody, you just treat people with respect, and that's the biggest, one of the biggest lessons you can take away in life is that right there. You treat people with respect, they get it back.
Yeah, and he was like right before that, we were in Jimmy Steele's office, and Jimmy Steele was freaking out. And Suge lit his cigar. He was sitting there with a cigar and he was smoking it in there. And fucking Jimmy's looking at him like, oh my God, we're inside. You're smoking a cigar. And I looked over at him and I said, hey, Suge, you can't smoke that in here. And he's like, oh, sorry, Miz. And he put it out in the trash can. And after Suge walked out, Jimmy grabbed me and he goes, what are you into? And I'm like, what? He goes, are you a gangbanger? You just asked Suge Knight to put a cigar out and he did. And I'm like, no, dude, you just treat him with respect and he'll treat you with respect.
Yeah. Yeah, he was cool, man.
It's
He was
crazy.
very like he was nicer than I would have like for some I mean, because of the way the media and at this time hip hop media was like, you know, there was like it was just assumed that this dude was the worst dude in the world, or he was very like mean or very like a vindictive person that was trying to like, you know, bullyish, you know what I mean? But he was 100 like 180 the opposite and very nice and like shook your hand and made eye contact with you when, you know, he's a really nice dude. And then you kind of got to understand when there were certain people who knew him would be like, oh, that dude, he's a big old teddy bear. You'd be like, no, he's not. That's Suge Knight. And they'd be like, nah, really, once you get to know him, he's hella cool. And he came like, and we were surprised that he came to our station and was like, cool. And was like, whatever you guys need. And, like, just wanted to talk and listen to our opinion and play us music and be like, what are you guys playing? Like, he was just asking like us what our opinion was, and that was cool.
Well, and even that night, you know, we spent like another hour in the programming office talking about rotations and you know how shit works. We wanted to know about research, like if it gets played, how do you tell what goes on a mix show? Then we test it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wow. Dude. He was cool by me.
Master P was the same way.
That, you know, that Master P, you got to give him all due respect because he was the one that figured out the marketing deal, you know, and that was a huge push. And then, you know, of course, Cash Money followed the same suit with that model, right? And I think Cash Money was the last one to get that deal off, right? But man, shout out to
Brian Shapton's the head of finance. He was the head of finance for Priority during that time and helped him build the independent system. That's why I have him there October 19th. You know, I wanted, you know, not only did he work with E40, who literally sold records out of his trunk to start.
Yeah.
And that was independent game. He still works with E40 to this day. You know what I mean? Like, so to be able to talk from the out of the trunk to the Priority deal with Master P, then the In-Grooves deal and the DJ Quick deal that made the Fontana distribution system that's now In-Grooves and at Virgin that so many people have a deal with, it's relevant, you know, all through history, you know what I mean? And we're just so lucky to have these C-Minuses, the Brian Shaftons, the Steve Rifkins, who I can't believe is going to do a panel. I haven't seen him do one in God knows how long. So it's good to have him there, you know, talk about the street team history and get people, you know, working records right to DJs. You know, I mean, DJs still have the pulse.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, we do. So I mean, that's great, man. Speaking of
you'll
DJ,
never find an advocate bigger than me when it comes to DJs and radio programming.
Well, I wanted to ask the question, do you gentlemen, in your opinion, think that radio is dead, or is there a chance for it to actually get
just
back
hasn't
to
evolved.
what it used to? What is there a chance that it can get back to what the way it was?
Easily. It just hasn't evolved. If you had a show like Drink Champs with Drink Champs with a mix show in the middle of it and then syndicated it to radio, it'd be over.
Got it.
You can do it visually on these platforms and then just syndicate it to radio. And just run it straight to a transmitter and have a 24-hour radio station. Make it MTV from the 90s.
Yeah, I think my love affair with radio, which was consistent up until I left Power, and still, like, it's one of those things that, you know, I remember and I go, oh, I was rad. And sometimes, you know, I'll miss for a couple of years after I kind of missed it. But then I saw the direction it was headed. But I think I would want to say, yes, it could be saved. Absolutely. Whether or not it'll happen, that remains to be seen. But I think Worth and Michelle S. are kind of coming from our school of people who care. And like, this used to be like the best job in my life was to play these songs for people who would listen. And we had a hell of a listenership back then. So it was like really cool. And it was a high I could not explain unless you were there, you know, and either in the audience or watching this work. So I would say I really hope it could, but
but will they let it happen? That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I mean, because there's radio is still so prevalent. When you go to any kind of liquor store out here, you know, there's people that are still listening to the radio.
Well, if you want the stats, 96% of Americans still listen to the radio, and only 26% of inner cities have data plans on their cell phone. So they're not sitting on TikTok. They're not sitting on YouTube. They don't have the internet like that. In their FedEx trucks, they have the radio.
Yeah.
It's just the radio is automated and not entertaining anymore. If it became a visual medium that you could watch on your phone but listen to on the radio, we'd also be able to develop artists and break records in the core incubation markets, which are inner cities. I mean, rural areas too. Like, I mean, you think about it in Louisiana. When I was in Louisiana, there's a cloud in the sky. I didn't get satellite. I didn't get Wi-Fi, but I got the radio. You know what I mean? Like, and iHeart is just a big ball of redundant cost. You should have 10,000 radio stations playing the same programming, not 10,000 radio stations programming individual shit onto a platform. I mean, think of all of those redundant costs. Go Radio 1 like overseas, you'd be straight.
Do you have to, my question about the FCC, right? And having to play or not being able to have free and open conversations, or even, you know, having to play edited versions. I mean, that
for the FCC is much more flexible right now than they have been ever. Okay. Like, you could pull off some pretty interesting things if you had the right lobby behind you.
Right.
You might even get the bandwidth. Well, forget it. You might even be able to see TV on your phone through. I mean, every Samsung cell phone has a radio receiver in it for emergencies. They just don't have an API connecting. I mean, if you lobbied to Apple and got that done to a Jimmy Iovine or some crap like that, and every radio station had its app, and when you were driving through the streets, your phone got your radio, but when you got around Wi-Fi, it turned into a visual. There is a way to do it, you know. I mean, there's a super simple way to do it. Like, that would just, but I'm not going to give that idea away.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Look, you at least got to pay to go see it at October 19th. I have one request in regards to a member that you should add to the panel. If that member is willing to do it, but you know what I mean? He's sitting right next to you on the screen. Why don't we have a master class of
C is always more than welcome to be my personal special guest. He can come and DJ if he wants.
Oh, thank you, man.
I just booked you.
I mean, yeah, that might be hot. Why don't you come and DJ before, during, and after?
Hey, can I come carry your records, man?
Sure.
And then you just got Boogie a free ticket.
There it is.
Well,
but see, you're more than welcome as my guest. We'll put you in any place you want to go.
Oh, man, thank you.
Whatever you'd like.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. See, I'm just saying. You should. I mean, if you have the ability to, you should.
Hey, I'm hella open.
Hell yeah. There it
is.
Then
we will make something happen.
Folks, it's been another episode of B-Boys Underground. I want to thank the homies, the family, Damizza and C-Minus, for being on here, blessing us with this epic show and just giving us just this opportunity to share these memories with you. And if you were watching this live, you had a chance to ask your questions. Thank you for being here. For everybody that tuned in live, I want to give Damizza a chance to also announce anything that you want to announce at this time, sir.
October 19th, tickets are on my bio on Instagram, and I'm just honored to be here with you two fine individuals.
Man, come on, man.
And C, I love you. Thank you so much for telling that story, bro. That warmed my old pirate heart.
Oh, dude, there's others too that I'll call you about.
Oh, please do. Because, that time, and especially after, as much drugs as I consumed, there's a lot I don't remember. And I'm not proud of that. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'll feel you.
It was, my Superman flicking peanuts at the bar stage wasn't kind to my memory.
Hell yeah.
Well, yo,
we've all been there.
We sure have, but
that's a perfect analogy, huh? I heard someone use that one time, and I was like, "Oh, I'm taking that."
I cleared out a bar one time. So, yo, I want to make sure everybody knows B-Boys Underground's back tomorrow night with the homie Dan EO out of Canada, dope MC out of Canada. Same usual time, same usual channel. And then on Thursday night, we've got the homie Mad Ways' birthday party. We got a lot of special surprise guests pulling up. That's going to be Thursday night, the usual suspect sesh, usual channels, usual time. Shout out to all my peoples. I love you all so much for being here. Shout out to homie G-Fresh and Big Weeze. You couldn't be here, but we missed you. Much love to you. With that being said, we are out. Peace.